The question is now, because Google have now got the bit between their teeth and they're coming out with their new phone, which is basically an AI masterpiece, versus Apple, who are still flailing, apparently doing a deal with Perplexity and Anthropic.
If they get the deal right,
if they get it right,
the stock's 260.
Yeah, even if it sounds right, because that's the way this market works, right? The market is is buy now and ask questions later, right?
We have a lot to cover.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the market is just rotating and grinding, and the shorts that continue. I mean, the options market just shows you how confused everyone is at an index level. I mean, every day I speak to my options guys, and implied vol is, the puts and the calls, they're all over the shop. They go from cheap to expensive to fair value, and ultimately no one really has a clue. And the bearish positioning that continues to mount up just keeps getting ground out, and it's healthy, right? Palantir and Nvidia and Broadcom are no longer leading this market, right? There's other names that are leading this market, and all the names that we've talked about for months now that were unloved, names like Google. We didn't talk about Oracle, unfortunately, but that's obviously come to the table, amongst many others, right? Micron, of course, is leading. I mean, that's just exploded. I mean, that's just an extraordinary inflection story, that one. I mean, now they're trading on a ridiculous overbought level, 85 RSI. I mean, Google's on 88 RSI, by the way. Last time it was that overbought was in 2016, I think.
It's had a quite a positive run of news stories.
It's been just a perfect run from the ideal situation being underweight, unloved, just sitting there doing nothing. Everyone's like, what should I do with Google? Are they going to lose their search business? We discussed it on the show.
Yeah.
To great numbers, people changing their mind about the AI and realizing that they are actually the AI kings and they'll be fine, to upgrades, to antitrust being backed off, to just a multitude of things. And then and everyone's gone from underweight to overweight in a short period of time, which of course has caused the stock to go completely parabolic.
So you can see it there, the move from 200 to 250. I mean, at what point,
look at that move.
is that excessive? So that
it's this $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, the fact that we're talking about Google as where's the excessive move, based on the fact that 3 months ago that no one wanted to even touch it.
Zero interest.
But this is what the market does, right? It finds the high quality companies that haven't been loved and it rotates into them.
Or is it desperate to find anything?
Maybe, I don't know. Listen, this market is what it is, right? It's exuberant. It's overheated. It's ignoring every other thing, right? There's plenty of reasons to be excited about this tape, but there's also plenty of things, in a normal world that would be,
terrifying.
Cause for some, at least taking a breath. I mean, look what's going on in the labour market, right? I mean, labour market's cooling. We all know that. It's an open question as to whether it's cooling too much. Then, of course, we've got the Fed tomorrow night. What are they going to say? What are they going to do? Market is obviously anticipating a cut and then guidance of 2 more cuts, I think. But, at the end of the day, there's plenty of things to be concerned about. But the market just doesn't care, and it hasn't cared for a long time. And it's frustrating for those of us who, have been in markets for 20 years plus and expecting some sort of volatility at some point. But there's a lot of money to be made. I could have made a lot more money if I hadn't had hedges on, but nonetheless, still making money in the books that I run.
Well, that's
just trading in and out of things, really nervously in and out. You've got to be disciplined.
And I think some people, we're getting to levels now where some people will think, what's the point in hedging? Why they'll see gains, they'll see things like Oracle, and the moves are so big that they'll chase and they'll lose discipline. Because if you think it can't go down, then January 2018 taught you, then you short vol.
Yeah.
And when you're short vol at these levels, because the market goes up every day, 20 basis points, 30 basis points, that's when you get an absolute smash in the face.
Yeah, listen, it happens every now and then, right? And it's amazing when the market loses its bid, it loses its bid. And if you're in the very liquid stuff, you're fine, you can get out. If you're in the illiquid stuff, not so much. But it's just the problem is that trying to sell it before that happens is just it's a mug's game, and it hurts. And I speak to retail people all the time now because of this TikTok thing that I'm doing, right? And it's fascinating to listen to their mindset. Thousands of people talk to me every single day, right?
I gotta say thank you for yesterday, because you put out a video in the morning usually, about 11.
I do sometimes. Usually I do one morning, especially if there's something to talk about, in the, which there always generally is.
And the reason I mentioned TikTok is, of course, because it looks like Oracle will be buying the US part of the business.
Yeah, if that happens, I mean, it's quite extraordinary. I use the word extraordinary for Trump stuff all the time, but is it really extraordinary? Nothing's extraordinary.
It's just ordinary
It's
now.
just another day in the office, right? I mean, no doubt Larry Ellison's having a great time right now, taking over Musk's position as the richest man in the world. What's he got? 44% of that company? That's insane. So he's obviously mates with Trump, and they've obviously had a hell of a lot of lunches and dinners talking about this before. I have no idea how that fits into the business model. Who cares? Does it matter? I don't know. All that matters is that
They host it at the moment.
Yeah, of course, sure. But I mean, it's not the natural fit for a software company to be buying TikTok. Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what's real and what's not real anymore.
So do they get some kind of meta premium? Because they're now the main challenger of Meta.
I think we're in the middle of the re-rating right now. Yesterday's news and this news is obviously just yet another thing for everyone to get their head around.
Yeah.
I suppose.
But sorry, you've already had. Well, you're going through a re-rating for the core business, but is this an additional re-rating because it is now has a Meta?
Well, it has the social. Perhaps it has the social media valuation. If that's the case, I'd like to see what the deal looks like in terms of how the revenues will hit their numbers. But let's assume that is now baked into the rating of this company.
Well, Trump will
4 times forward earnings for Oracle makes them dirt cheap. I mean, let's just quickly put that in perspective. Their top line revenue is 55%, right? For 23 times forward earnings, which is pretty much quite cheap actually in the way that's mega cheap. That's like 100% too cheap. It's 400% cheap if you want to talk in the Palantir language.
Yeah.
Right. And why is Palantir's business better than Oracle's business? Mark Benioff the other day was on CNBC saying, I'm very envious of the premium the market pays for Palantir's business. We don't have their growth profile, but even if the market applied the multiple to them, to us that they did to them, we'd be like 300% higher. But and he was applauding it, but I was at the same time like, okay, but why is it anyway? So I've given up on Palantir. We made some money out of the short. I'm just stepping aside. I can't be bothered anymore.
Right, Boise is saying he is loving all your TikToks.
Oh yeah, he's on there, is he?
Just you got cut the hi guys.
Is that what he's saying?
Give us your intro. What's your intro? Come on.
Hi guys. Yeah, you love that, don't you? I'm talking to them.
Hi guys.
On a personal level. Hi guys. Morning.
It's got a lot.
You love
of that.
it,
especially when we're on holiday when you were, Very...
But that's all by design, right?
Yeah.
In the Hamptons with the Top Gun hat on.
The Top Gun hat's very cool. Right, we've got a lot of questions coming in. So, can we please run through Plug? And,
yeah, sure.
mRNA and then also Qualcomm.
Yeah, great. So Plug is kind of, excuse me, Plug is kind of consolidating, which is unusual in recent times for this stock. Every time it sells off, it's supported. The technicals are still intact. I bought some back yesterday. And I've been trading around. My hope, and there's nothing that's really changed too much in this story. Yeah. I suppose the best thing they have going for them at the moment is that a lot of the junk stocks are starting to catch a bid. It's just that the focus has been on quantum and AI and nuclear fission and all these other sexy areas, and not so much on hydrogen. But
so just a reminder for everybody who's just tuning in for the first time hearing about Plug, a quick snapshot of what they do.
So Plug Power are a hydrogen fuel cell company. The best way to describe what they do is their customers like Amazon, Walmart, Costco. They make small hydrogen fuel cells that go into the warehouse forklift trucks, for example.
Right.
And they've got other applications around the world. They have a contract with Volvo as well. Listen, if you rewind the clock, this company was going to be a darling. It was trading at $65 a share and going to 100, according to Citron, the biggest short seller in the world. Yeah. Now we're trading at $1.50. Balance sheet problems, regulatory problems, and just a lack of growth really is the problem. But the short interest is 32%. It's a short squeeze stock. They've improved their balance sheet. They've improved their customer base. The regulatory situation has improved for them because they do get the tax credits. Mm-hmm. Solar didn't, they did. So there is a base under the stock now. And I think it's just a matter of time until it has a squeeze up to $2.5, $3.
but with a high risk warning.
It's a very, very high risk stock, so you keep a low position and a tight stop loss. For
Market comes off, this is probably $1.20.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Right, next one.
What was the other one we said? Qualcomm.
What do you want to do? Yeah, Qualcomm.
Qualcomm's a fascinating company, right? These guys are one of the only large cap semiconductors that are still very cheap and very unloved versus the market. I've loved Qualcomm for many years. They've been involved in lots of antitrust because these guys piss a lot of people off because they own the intellectual property that everyone's hostage to. They are the brains of all of mobile phones, whether it be the Apple phone or the Samsung phone. MediaTek in Taiwan is the only other company in the world that make chip modems for phones, but they're nowhere near as powerful as the Snapdragon. Look at the Mercedes F1 car; it says Snapdragon all over it, right?
This is Nick Feingold starting to like this stock as well.
I mean, I've loved this stock for years, but it's a heartbreaker, and the reason why that is because they're still too slight. Their AI business, it's all about AI, right, and growth. These guys are similar to Broadcom, but more so. They're weighted heavily in the smartphone business, right, which is a low growth business.
Yeah.
Their AI business is slowly catching up. And don't make no mistake, these guys are the brain power of the semiconductor world. They're very arrogant. They say that they invented 4G, which they pretty much did. They invented 5G. They're very arrogant. They piss everyone off. They've got antitrust all over the world. Very cheap, high quality cash cow. But they just need to get that revenue growth going again. I love it, but it's just I want to see it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that we'll look back in 3 months and say, oh, remember when we talked about Qualcomm.
Having said that, for me, I've got a lot of history with this stock. I've been saying this for a long time. But we're at the inflection point in AI for a number of companies. Marvell, Qualcomm are two great examples of stock. Micron 3 months ago, but now that's got the value being baked in.
Yeah.
These guys are unloved and high quality.
There was M&A at one stage, wasn't there?
They've done a lot. The Qualcomm bought, and I'm just trying to remember the name of the company. I should know. I was just thinking about it. I've had a mind blank. Yeah. It was a while ago. It was quite yeah, it was a UK company, and it's really annoying me. AlphaWave. AlphaWave? Yeah, I think that's the name of the company. It's a UK company that helps, and this is a great example of how they're getting into the data center, which is what they want to do. It's AlphaWave, are a UK company that specialises in speeding up the transition of data in the data center. They bought them for that reason and for that initiative. So there's a lot going on in Qualcomm that's very exciting. It's just a matter of the market actually appreciating it. So I like it a lot. What was the other one that they just mentioned?
Well, we mentioned Marvell, didn't we? So,
Marvell, yeah. I mean, look, it's had its sell-off. Those of you who owned it, I actually didn't own it into earnings because because I hate owning anything into earnings, and I basically got lucky because it sold off. But bought it back at 62, whatever it was. I'm just going to hold on to it unless there's a reason not to hold on to it, right? I mean, you got to be respectful of the price action. It doesn't. It's kind of just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
No one knows about. No. Again, just to give you some feedback from the retail world of TikTok. It's amazing how many people have come back to me on this particular call. Out of all the things I've mentioned, this one has had the biggest reception.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds of people have come back to me and said, "Love that call, totally agree. I'm in this for the long run. Wicked." Like it was.
Yeah, I must admit, I do like it.
Overwhelmingly strong, which goes to show you it has a big retail following, not a big institutional following, and that's why it has massive rallies. But at the moment, the retail crew are just quietly sitting there, not doing much about it. When I say retail crew, it's the US guys you really want. But they do need to deliver, right? And just to put it in perspective, their revenue growth was 58%. 58%, and they're down 2% on earnings. I mean, it's a bit much, if you ask me. It's the bottom line that's the problem, right? They need to be improving those margins. But you know, for me, it's just a matter of time. I'll stop loss at 60 or whatever, and just sit with it.
I think Morgan Stanley called it best after the results. They said, "We keep on saying that this stock is going to have a big move up because of X, Y, Z, but every single quarter we're disappointed.
Yeah,
so we're still waiting for it."
Well, exactly. I mean, listen, I've seen this many times before in Marvell. Marvell's like AMD on steroids, and what I mean by that is that AMD has moments in the doldrums. Just recently, I mean, I was on the show 6 months ago, and no one wanted to buy that thing. It's now 100% higher. Yeah. It's a battleground stock that has its ups and downs. Marvell is like that, but more. And so it's kind of in one of those moments right now. I just think it's not a trading stock. I just whack it in the book, forget about it, and put a stop loss, and don't worry about it. And for the time being, there's other things to trade.
Like CoreWeave.
like CoreWeave, which is spicy as hell. I mean, listen, buying the dip on this thing, which I did, and then of course sold it too early like an idiot. Now I'm a bit confused as to what to do, but the news flow changes almost daily in this stock. So prior to yesterday, we had 2 upgrades, 1 downgrade, a big bear report out, detailed report on how they think that the GPU rental business is a bit of a scam, not a scam, is a little bit of a fad and too capital intensive and ultimately not going to lead to the margins that they want. So there's lots of short sellers circling on this stock. Remember that, because they've got a lot of debt. So, unlike some of these other companies, well, Palantir is actually the same.
Short sellers just don't believe in the model, do they?
They don't necessarily believe in the model. They don't like the balance sheet. They don't necessarily believe in the model. But there's loads of bulls as well. Plus, it's a retail favorite. Plus, and you've got to remember, retail favorite. There's options activities massive. The moves are 10% on a piece of news, not 5%. Yesterday's a great example. Nvidia have just signed a new deal with them. Remember that Nvidia are obviously in bed with them already.
Yeah.
It's a $5 billion deal. Over 2 years, I think it is. It's a big endorsement for the company. It's obviously, reiterates the business model and the revenue streams. And I think that it's at a technical, from a technical perspective, it obviously needs to break out. Listen, I'm not committing to this right now. I'm just trading it. So I think it's got another 10% to the upside, maybe in the near term. So I'm just kind of trading it. But I think if you step back from it, I am bullish on it. But they do need to fix their balance sheet. They can't run $13 billion worth of debt. What's the market cap as of yesterday?
Fundamentals, we are on 58.6 billion US dollars.
Okay, so there we go. So that's, I've seen that's not necessarily a massive market cap to debt ratio compared to some other companies, but in terms of big companies, there's quite a lot of debt.
Question from our good friend Pelican. Would you rather spend $2,000 on an Apple phone or invest in their shares? Now, you have absolutely nailed this one, because this was your call 2 months ago, 3 months ago at 190. And, it must have been, 3 months ago. Time flies. 195, you called this, said it's going higher. And higher it has gone to 235.
And this is a great example of the reason why I said it was going higher is because it's a positioning story. It was the same reason I thought Google was going higher. The only difference is Google's had loads of good news and these guys have had loads of lukewarm news. And look, it's still higher.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why it's higher is because the market has rotated into the high quality companies that are unloved. It's as simple as that. There's no good news. Their new Air phone that they just came out with was, if you ask me, it was a flop. Right, they've got less battery life. It's smaller. It doesn't do as much stuff, although it's apparently easier to use. No one cares. All they care about is, are you going to make up the gap, the chasm between you and the AI guys? The question is now, because Google have now got the bit between their teeth, and they're coming out with their new phone, which is basically an AI masterpiece, because they are the AI kings, versus Apple, who are still flailing. Apparently doing a deal with Perplexity and Anthropic, but to be confirmed what that deal looks like. So in the meantime,
if they get the deal right,
if they get it right,
the stock's 260.
Yeah, even if it sounds right, because that's the way this market works, right? The market is buy now and ask questions later, right?
Yeah. And I think it comes from the president.
Yeah, amen. But I struggle to love Apple in any way, shape, or form as a stock, but that doesn't mean you can't trade it. I actually don't own it anymore, but maybe I should, purely on the basis of what I just said.
Yeah. What the hell happened in Tesla in the last few days?
Gosh, that's the ultimate, right? This is a great example of what goes on with Tesla. So Musk bought $1 billion worth of stock, hit the tape. That was 7% yesterday. Dan Ives,
your best
banging the drum, saying that this is a $2 trillion company. Nothing new. Nothing new. There's no new news. There's no fundamental.
Not the cars.
Definitely not the cars. I don't even know. Do they sell cars? I don't even know whether they sell cars anymore. No one wants them. The cars are literally irrelevant, which I find. Don't you find that quite interesting, right? They don't have any revenue from the thick stuff that they do care about, and the stuff that they don't care about, the revenue's declining.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter. Musk bought $1 billion worth of stock. This is not a stock. I never trade it. I'm never touching it. If people ask me about it, a gun to the head. I think the way this world works, you just want to be long and a small amount of it.
Short it, can you?
You can't short it. Forget about it. There's every reason to short it, and you can't.
Did he just get paid? Was it $6 billion? How much did he get paid?
The new pay package is taken over the space of, and I forget the time period. I want to say 10 years. Is $1 trillion. $1 trillion.
But how much did he actually just cash out?
Don't know.
A few months ago, because that's what he's done. He's taken money out of the company,
Yeah, and then just bought stock.
and used maybe 20% of it to buy stock. So
if you could buy $1 billion worth of a stock, right, and then it goes up 7% based on that bit of news, and then you just knock a few out, right? It's quite a nice little business model. I'm going to get to that stage soon on TikTok. No,
Yeah.
just joking.
That's exactly what he did with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, this is just a fascinating story that I find impossible to trade. If I had to do something, if someone forced me to do something, I would own a small position and just not think about it. I would definitely never short it, as much as it's tempting. But it doesn't live in the real world. It lives in a fantasy future world, which may or may not be fantastic. Who knows? I don't know.
ASML.
Oh yeah, let's definitely talk about that. So ASML is a great example of the rotation that we've been seeing. So
Do you want the European or the US?
the European, the US one's so illiquid.
Okay. Right. So I mean, it had bad numbers. Well, they just didn't give guidance. Then suddenly,
Again, this is yet another example, right? And this is, I am long, I was long, and I remain long. The reason why that is, one of the top companies in the world, we all know it's high quality, it's been hibernating, unloved because of the lumpy orders and the regulatory concerns. Then it gets to a certain point where, I mean, the last update from the CEO, just to be crystal clear, was we have no idea about guidance.
No.
Basically, he said this is awful, was basically what he said, right? Went down, and now we're 20% higher. Rotation into the high quality, unloved names in the market, rotation out of the crowded stuff in the US, like Nvidia, into ASML. Market in general picking up, and of course the clarity on the US-China chip deal, which means that potentially the orders might come flowing back in. And of course, suddenly this is an AI story again. It wasn't before. Oh, they also bought what's it called? This is going to really worm. Mistral, which is the one of the only European AI companies.
right.
Right. They bought $1.3 billion. They bought a majority stake in them last week, which is a smart move, because and Mistral was set up by the Google and Perplexity alumni, and it's one of the only. It's obviously not listed, just like every other good company in Europe. But it's a smart company, pure AI, and they now own a majority share in it, which I think is also quite smart, because it's added a little bit of an AI tinge to the story.
Yeah.
It's all just hot air, right? I mean, nothing's changed. It's just up 20%. It's the way it works.
They put the artificial in artificial intelligence.
Correct. That's the way they're welcome to the market. Yeah.
Fed tomorrow. So we had a poll earlier, and we asked, do we get a 25 basis point that's dovish, 25 basis point hawkish, or 50? 50% of our viewers say it's going to be a 25 basis point cut with a dovish tint in the press conference. 32% think hawkish, and only 10% of people are saying it will be 50 basis points. What's it called?
I think that based on everything that we've just seen, everything we saw from him last time, everything we've seen since, I think it'd be very unlikely it's got a hawkish tinge to it. Also, let's just not forget, a hawkish tinge would be a shock to the market. Mm-hmm. He hates shock in the market. I mean, if 9 times out of 10, he helps the market go higher.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very unlikely that we see 50 basis points, because I think that would be him tipping his hat to Trump, and I think he can get away with doing 25 and a dovish conference call, press conference, rather than doing 50 and then talking it down, which is what. So the question for me is, but what does he say about the labour market? Is what I want.
Well, that's it. Does the data allow a dovish?
I think it does. I think the data is actually quite poor. I mean, it depends what you look at. But
if we talk about, in his words, we are balanced in our targets. You think he'll lean more towards the unemployment rate, job situation, so that it won't be balanced?
This is the tricky one, right? Because his mandate, the thing that him in particular, is so laser focused on, which is his mandate, is the inflation number, which is sticky, right? But it's not it's also not that bad. Like, look at the PPI, right? PPI scared everyone, and then it was miles lower, right? PPI, by the way, is a high frequency, noisy number. But look at the core. The core's not a prop, right? Yes, it's sticky, but it was lower the other day. From an inflation point of view, it's like, I'm not sure. But I think that the other part of his mandate, of course, is the labour market, right? And I think it's going to have to be mentioned.
Yeah.
But I just think the stage is set, and that's why the market's also rallying and getting so excited. I think they can see that he's now kind of backed into a corner a little bit, because he did his pivot. Now it's his time to actually pivot. And is he going to stick to the same vibe that he said that he did 3 weeks ago? And the answer is probably yes. And if he does that, the market's probably going to melt up again.